Well, just about everybody's been reporting on the report, the memo, or I don't know if it's a real memo or a fake memo, essentially saying, hey guys, you're all crazy. There's nothing to see here. Mr. Jeffrey, nothing odd. Here's a 11-hour security cam footage that doesn't really show you anything, but we also said never existed. And I am right here, right now, calling for Pam Bondi and Kash Patel to immediately release what they said they had or step down, because they both specifically said that there were files and files and files and files. And now this Axios report, which again, they have not come out to debunk yet, is a report from the FBI saying there's absolutely no shenanigans whatsoever. Here it is. You know, the Justice Department and the FBI have concluded that there's no evidence from Jeffrey, that he ever blackmailed powerful figures, or that he kept a client list, or that he didn't take his own life. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, the Axios article that was linked to this, they took it down, so I don't, blah, 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 blah. Yes, that part is true. They did take it down, but as far as I've seen, literally nobody's come out to say this isn't true. Here's the biggest problem I have with this. I am actually willing to accept that Jeffrey took his own life. If I have to accept anything from this case, I accept that. Begrudgingly, okay? What I am not willing to accept is that Jeffrey didn't have a large network of customers, of clients, of kids. You see, this article here, I'll just read this paragraph. The files relating to Jeffrey include a large volume of images of Jeffrey, images and videos of victims who are either young or appear to be very young, and over 10,000 downloaded videos and images of CSAM. Teams of agents, analysts, attorneys, and privacy and civil liberties experts combed through the digital documentary evidence with the aim of providing as much information as possible while simultaneously protecting victims. Much of the material is subject to court order sealing. Only a fraction of this material would have been aired publicly had he gone to trial, as a seal only served to protect victims and did not expose any third parties to allegations of illegal wrongdoing. Through this review, we found zero basis to revisit this disclosure of the materials and will not permit the release of, videos of kids. Obviously, that is a convenient excuse. As I pointed out last night, Ghislaine Maxwell is sitting in prison for trafficking to nobody. You have some of this reaction. We're going to look at the footage. People are obviously turning bigly on Dan Bongino and Kash Patel. You see Benny Johnson. Jeffrey and Ghislaine were both charged by the feds for operating a massive trafficking ring that involved, quote, thousands of victims. They were both found guilty in federal court. One of their clients is pictured here, Prince Andrew, the Duke of York. He paid a victim tens of millions of dollars for her silence. Virginia Roberts' story is horrific and well documented. Now she's dead. To say that there are thousands of victims in a convicted trafficking operation and then say that there were no customers when the operation happened right before our very eyes insults our intelligence. Trafficking to no one? I don't buy it. There are dark forces at play here. The party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final and most essential command. George Orwell. What's interesting is, a lot of people are saying, well, yeah, but what about Trump? Yeah, what about Trump? Yeah, what about... Okay, cool. If Trump is involved in the cover-up, I want it out too. If Trump's on the list, I want it out too. Nice try, disingenuous leftoids. If Donald Trump is on this list or has anything to do with it, I want to know. And I want him in prison with everyone else. Okay? So nice try, disingenuous leftoids. I'm not interested in playing partisan politics when we're talking about thousands of people at risk here. You see Luke Wardowski here. Dan Bongino let it go. What a shame and a sick, twisted turn of events for everyone.
Huge story. Again, not a lot of people are talking about. There is a little current of information I'm getting that the Department of Justice under Pam Bondi may be finally releasing a lot of information on this Jeffrey Epstein case, which is a huge deal. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. I'm hoping it does. I've been covering it for a long time. The Jeffrey Epstein case, you do not know all the details of this thing, I promise. There are a lot of really obviously powerful people. This part you know, but the specific names.
But Dan, you just said that we do know everything and there is nothing to know. That's what Dan Bongino said. Like, with his whole chest, 10 toes on the line, he went on Fox News and said, there's no conspiracy here.
Including, I believe, the Clintons, based on information I discussed yesterday, who are knee-deep in involvement with Jeffrey Epstein, and no one can figure out what the level of entanglement is.
Mossad?
Jeffrey Epstein met with Obama's fixer, his lawyer, Catherine Rumler, who was always the one in the middle of these Obama scandals, and we can't figure out why, what they're hiding. Here's Marsha Blackburn, who has been all over this. She's a senator from Tennessee, Republican, obviously. And she's like, hey, man, is it time now? It's time to start overturning that rock and seeing what's underneath it. Check this out.
I've repeatedly requested a subpoena for the complete unredacted Epstein flight logs from the FBI. I've also pushed for the release of Ghislaine Maxwell's unredacted little black book of contacts and addresses. The American people have...
I mean, this is, people say, people are pointing this out with Dan.
That's right. What cause is dear to your heart?
Cause is dear to my Israel, the defense of Israel.
What is number one?
Interesting. Ghislaine Maxwell's father was linked to the Mossad or a part of the Mossad. Trump's DOJ and FBI conclude that Jeffrey had no secret client list and also did not have anybody take his life. Common Sense Extremist writes, Kevin Spacey, Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton, Chris Tucker, Matt Groening, Stephen Hawking are names that I remember off the top of my head, but apparently I'm also hallucinating. Pam Bondi says that the client list is sitting on her desk right now and is reviewing the JFK and MLK files. She's.
One of the things
is she lying now or lying then?
People are wondering, because you said last week that you have the Epstein files on your desk, is when can we see them and what's taking so long to release them?
I do.
Essentially, they're hiding behind the fact that they're saying, well, every piece of evidence we have also happens to be CP, so we can't show that. That's what they've said.
Jesse, there are well over, this will make you sick, 200 victims.
200? 200?
So
for what? Are they all only Jeffries?
we have well over 250 actually. So we have to make sure that their identity is protected.
Fine.
And their personal information. But other than that, I think tomorrow, the personal information of victims. Other than
Fine.
that, I think tomorrow, Jesse, breaking news right now, you're going to see some Epstein information being.
We never got that. We got the ridiculous PR thing. Luke points out, what happened to these tapes? Why can't we even get answers on this? Now I don't know what these are. These appear to be small safes to me, not tapes. I could be wrong. I don't know exactly. I'll have to ask him. He's actually in my house right now. On the right here, there may be tapes, but I'm not sure what these are on the left. They don't look like cassette tapes to me, but I'm not sure. Here we have CDs, though, allegedly of video. I mean, what? We have nothing? Remember, Pam Bondi said there was a truckload of files, and it had just arrived. Thousands of pages that the FBI was reviewing. In July, that was in March. Then July says, the DOJ says there's no client list. He took his own life. Case closed. Was she lying then, or is she lying now? Now, they put out this video. It's an 11-hour live stream that, again, really doesn't show anything. Dan was right about that. This video shows diddly squat. diddly poo. It shows nothing. It's an 8-hour or 11-hour, I think it's 11 hours or something. Somebody actually scrubbed it and said camera footage only shows 7 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. He was found at 6:30 a.m. Show us until then. There's also a missing minute between 11:59 and 12 o'clock. I mean, this is very, very odd. Here at 5:45, why cut the video? Back from August 10th, the day he took his own life. Back to August 9th. Watch this. They cut the video here and put a clip in, and then it goes back to a different time. Here we go, back to August 9th at 7:45 p.m. Before the clip, it's August 10th. So why put the beginning at the end? That's weird. Here you have apparently CCTV footage taken. Apparently, this is Jeffrey here. Allegedly getting walked in. Doesn't show anything. Now, again, they did say that this footage wasn't going to show anything. So I can't, it's like I'm kind of conflicted here. I can't just be like, oh, we need, we need more information, because there's no information to be had in this footage. It doesn't clear anybody. It doesn't do anything. Did they think that this was going to be good enough? Pam Bondi needs to go. Kash Patel needs to go. They both lied. Or they could issue a statement and say, you know what? I was wrong. For the 3 years that I was talking about this on my very popular live stream, I was wrong. I've seen the evidence now, and there's nothing there. Maybe. This is wild and wildly embarrassing for everyone involved.